Deputy Speaker, I'd like to congratulate the member for South Dorset in bringing this debate here today. It's been an education for me. I do want to refer to a specific constituent of mine by name. I heard the cautionary remarks at the start of the debate, and so I will not name any other individuals. None of these matters are sub judice. Jan Cruickshank has consented to the use of her name today and the sharing of details of her case. She is a devoted mother of 3 and has been in a committed relationship with her husband Rob since meeting as childhood sweethearts. Many of the cases we've heard about today involve mega-wealthy, high-profile individuals. Jan is not such an individual. She faced a problem with her employer, the Construction Industry Training Board. In 2015, she was allegedly sexually assaulted by a co-worker at the Construction Industry Training Board. Upon reporting the assault to CITB, Jan unfortunately suffered a nervous breakdown and had to take sick leave. The person against whom the complaint was made was put on garden leave. He returned after a week, even though he had been told to take at least a month. He returned to work and began propagating false narratives, suggesting that Jan was falsely accusing him. Jan had reported the assault while in a vulnerable state, having recently suffered a significant house fire. The conditions of a subsequent police interview, which lasted approximately 10 hours in a damaged environment, compromised the integrity of the process. Now, a senior whistleblower within CITB has revealed that the legal team there had indicated a substantial potential liability should Jan's case come to trial. The whistleblower confirmed that there was a targeted campaign to discredit Jan over several mediums. CITB misused the false narrative to depict Jan as a homewrecker, subsequently initiating a predetermined HR investigation focused on facilitating her exit from the company, and a second whistleblower has corroborated that management planned that Jan would be exited from the business a month before her HR process was complete. And following the assault, Jan was placed in an untenable position of having to confront her alleged attacker daily upon returning to work amidst ongoing HR investigations. Now, bear in mind, this is 2015, that someone has to face a situation in which her employer, a large employer, has failed to take proper steps to separate those two individuals and allow them to be able to work freely. Her employment was terminated after what she only describes as a warped and unprofessional HR investigation. CITB later communicated to the police that the situation stemmed from a consensual relationship and further lied to the police, suggesting that Jan had been sending explicit pictures to the offender, dismissing the severity of the allegations, a submission which has negatively impacted on her case severely and does still to this day. Now, she did pursue an employment tribunal with the support of her union, but she faced significant challenges. And here's the rub, and what is relevant to this debate today. She was pressured into accepting a settlement far below the realistic sum that she should have been entitled to. And furthermore, she was asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement so that she could not speak freely about the case. And this is why I believe that Jan's case falls into this category of SLAPPs. She's determined to seek justice, leading to the alleged attacker being prosecuted and to receiving just compensation. This will enable her and her family to move forward. Now, the term SLAPP is often employed to describe legal actions aimed at harassing, intimidating or exhausting victims' resources. A broader understanding of SLAPPs emphasises the need for protective measures for individuals seeking justice. Jan should not have been subjected to a HR investigation or an employment tribunal. Rather, she deserved time off work for recovery and support following the trauma that she had experienced. Worst of all, the Police Scotland interviewing officer lacked the requisite training for handling such a sensitive sexual assault case, resulting in the premature conclusion of the matter. It was later discovered that this was the officer's first interview of this type. and she should have had supervision present to guide her. Now, there are many more aspects of this case that I could wax on about, but I'm going to bring it to a close at this point, because really what I want to say is that Jan's situation starkly illustrates the extreme harm that can be inflicted by behaviours classified as strategic lawsuits against public participation. These tactics not only target individual victims, but create a pervasive ripple effect that extends to their families, to the communities and the broader public. And I would ask CITV to consider issuing a public apology to Jan. I would ask the police to consider re-looking at the whole way that this case was handled, and I would ask the Minister to meet with me to discuss this situation a little further in more detail. Thank you.
Jim Shannon.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. First of all, can I thank all of the right honourable members for their contributions, for setting the scene so very well, and for giving many examples, personal examples as well, of the where we are at this moment. Nice to see the Minister in her place, and nice to see her back, first of all, but nice to see her elevated to the position as well. Thank the honourable member for Dorset for presenting the case, setting the scene so well, and as he succinctly very much did. And I'm someone who was named also in a civil litigation High Court case regarding the COVID vaccine, of all things in this world, my goodness, along with the Minister for Health for Northern Ireland and other representatives from the area, collectively by someone who decided that they would do. The case had no foundation whatsoever, and yet I had to appoint a barrister and prepared to defend something that needed no defence, that being the COVID vaccine. Along with many other MLAs and civil servants, it was litigious, it was unnecessary, and had no legal foundation, and yet the stress and time that was taken up was terrible. Those with little means, little monies, pursued a SLAPP against those others who were totally innocent. The judge struck the case out right away for one defendant, and the domino effect of that and all the rest of us had that by right. And I was very thankful for this approach when I was having to pay for legal fees out of my own pocket for discussing and voting for government policy, which is a bit hard to comprehend. We live, Madam Deputy Speaker, in an increasingly litigious society.